Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig Sports. This is the NBA DFS Core Pick video for today, Monday, November 13th. If you are joining me for the very first time, this is how I will be structuring today's video. There will be no recap from yesterday's pick since we have not had a video since Friday. But we're going to look at the injury report for today. There's going to be 4 games for the main slate in total today. So a pretty light Monday, but we do have a pretty big slate coming up tomorrow for Tuesday for some of that in-season tournament. And then after we get done looking at the injuries for today's slate, we'll get over to my core picks for both DraftKings and FanDuel, looking at one player per position, so point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center for both sites that I do like quite a bit today. You know, those picks could change throughout the day if we do get some injury news, if we get some other updated news throughout the day. So definitely make sure you tune in throughout the day. I'll have that updated core posted about 15 to 20 minutes prior to lock, or as those changes do become available after that point in time as a pinned comment. But without further ado, we're going to get started with that injury report for today. So we have 3 teams on today's slate that are on a back-to-back. So we got the Knicks, the Wizards, and the Bulls. So not really going to talk too much about their injuries. We're going to get a more in-depth injury report on them probably early this afternoon. So definitely be sure to check out on the comments for that. But that first game is the Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Like I said, the Knicks are on the back-to-back. Don't really expect anyone to pop up on their injury report, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see. Boston Celtics just have quit out. Otherwise, they are all the way healthy, so no major changes here to be had for the Boston Celtics. The Wizards are on that back-to-back. We know DeLon Wright's out for sure. He's going to miss quite a bit of time at this point. Daniel Gafford did get banged up in yesterday's game. We'll see if he pops up on that injury report and then ultimately if he ends up playing tonight or not. Then for the Toronto Raptors, we have Christian Koloko listed as out. Gary Trent's listed as questionable with a foot injury. Now OG Anunoby is listed as questionable, it looks like, too. He was not there earlier today when I went through and did my injury report on Twitter, so we're going to take a look and see what's wrong with him at this point in time. So it looks like a finger injury for OG Anunoby. He is listed as questionable. You know, obviously, if he and Gary Trent both miss tonight, it could open up some value for this Toronto Raptors team overall. And that's probably something that's going to be pretty good for a 4-game main slate. Then we move over to the Bulls. Like I said, they're on the back-to-back, so we'll see what their injuries look like later on in the day. Alex Caruso did miss yesterday. I'm not sure if Dalen Terry played yesterday or not, but he's not really in the rotation either way. Then for the Bucks, Damian Lillard is listed as probable due to his calf injuries. Missed a couple games now, but should be back for tonight's game. Jake Crowder is out, and then Chris Livingston is also out. So Crowder's the main one there. With him not playing, you could see some value for some of those bench role players like Pat Connaughton, Marshawn Beauchamp, or even a couple extra minutes for a guy like Malik Beasley as well. Then we're going to keep moving down to our final game of the night. So Cleveland Cavaliers are without Ty Jerome, Isaac Okoro, and Ricky Rubio. Once again, Sam Merrill is listed as questionable due to illness, but not really a part of the rotation either way. And then on the Kings side, Trey Lyles remains out. And then De'Aaron Fox listed as doubtful tonight, even though he was able to go through practice yesterday. So maybe one that we keep an eye on throughout the day. Every once in a while on the blue moon, you see where guys go from doubtful to playing, but at the same time, still seems a little bit unlikely. So we probably get another start out of Keon Ellis tonight. And some of these other Kings options could look pretty good as well. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown on all the injuries for today's 4 games. And then, like I mentioned, with these teams on the back-to-back, we'll be getting an injury report out probably early this afternoon, so I'll be leaving that down in the comments, as well as any other injury changes throughout the day. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my core picks for tonight. So we're going to start off at the point guard position. I got Kobe White here at $5,400. Looking for 27 points on him. He's averaging 26 on the season. He's been doing really well as of late. So currently have him projected for, like 29, 30 points. If he's playing the minutes once again, if Alex Caruso's out, he's probably going to look even better too, just because there's more minutes to go around. And just like him quite a bit today in general. If you want to go with him, if you want to go with Darius Garland, if you want to go with Keon Ellis, if he gets the start once again with Fox out, there's a lot of good options at this point guard position today, even on a 4-game main slate. So all 3 of those look very good value-wise. But then we get down to shooting guard. We got Kevin Huerter here at $5,900. Coming off that monster game on Friday. So for you guys paying attention to me, I said, you can pivot from him to Luke Kennard on Friday because it looked like Kennard was going to be a better play with no Zaire Williams starting. He didn't end up getting the start, Luke Kennard, that is. But you got to keep in mind, even when I have somebody in my core and we pivot to somebody else, it doesn't mean that you can't play the person that was initially in the core as well. And Kevin Huerter went off in that game, so it was pretty good if you still end up playing him as well. But at $5,900, we're looking for 29, 30 points. That's essentially what I got on projected for tonight. He gets a little bit of extra usage, a little bit of extra shots, a little bit of extra assist rate. With no De'Aaron Fox out there tonight, so could be a pretty good spot for him once again overall. Then we move down to small forward Bilal Koulibaly, who's a rookie lottery pick. He's kind of most famous for being Victor Wembanyama's teammate in France, and then that's kind of how he popped up. But, he's been getting more minutes as of late, $3,900. We're looking for 19-20 out of him. He's averaging 18 on the season. Currently, I'm projected for 21 tonight. If Daniel Gafford's out, should see a couple extra minutes as well. Then we get down to the power forward position, DeMar DeRozan. $7,400 just feels a little too cheap for him today. Looking for 37 points out of him, essentially what he's been averaging on the season, getting a little bit better as of late. This Bulls team's really struggled to start the year, but they're looking a little bit better in recent games. Obviously on the back-to-back, maybe DeMar DeRozan's a little bit more limited minutes-wise, but I don't really see it. Currently I'm projecting, for 38, 39 points tonight. Then last but not least, we get down to Domantas Sabonis at $10,100. No De'Aaron Fox most likely once again tonight. Sabonis, we're looking for about 50 points out of him. He's averaging about 48 so far in the season. I believe he's coming off a triple-double now at this point in time. Currently, I'm projected for 51 tonight. Definitely has some pretty strong upside for more. Is a little bit tougher matchup against Cleveland. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley down there in the paint. But it's still Domantas Sabonis, and he can make things happen pretty much on any given night. So would not put it past him to do it once again. The center position is not the greatest today overall, so paying up for Sabonis makes some sense. If you want to pay down and take some shots on some other guys, there are a lot of guys out there that could outperform their price tag, but they also do come with their own risk at that as well. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here on the DraftKings side, you'll have $17,300 remaining. Just under $5,800 per player, so not a ton of money left over. We're going to have to get a little bit creative, probably play some cheaper guys on tonight's slate. Maybe you can sneak in one other higher priced player there. Maybe it's a little bit more of a balanced slate overall. A lot of different ways that you can build on this 4-game main slate, and there are some pretty decent players that are playing on tonight's slate overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel. Talk about my core picks over there as well. And like I mentioned on the DraftKings side, I like Darius Garland tonight. He was going to be, he's probably the second pick on the DraftKings side. But for FanDuel tonight, I got Darius Garland here at $7,600. And I currently have him projected for 38 fantasy points tonight. A little bit of pace-up spot versus the Kings tonight. A little bit of a lackluster defensive matchup on the Kings side. So should be a pretty good one for him overall. He's playing full minutes now at this point in time. Appears to be all the way healthy and has had some better games in recent days. Then at shooting guard, we're going to go with Keon Ellis of that Sacramento Kings team, who's actually on the opposite side of Darius Garland there. So he's $3,500. He started the past 3 games for them. There's probably no De'Aaron Fox once again tonight, even though he was able to practice yesterday, but he is listed as doubtful at this point in time. So I do like Keon Ellis. I got him projected for about 20 points. We're only looking for like 18 out of him. Looks like the best value play, at least on the FanDuel side so far today. And then we probably go down to the other best value play on FanDuel to start the day in Bilal Koulibaly. Once again, he's $4,000, so a little bit more expensive than on DraftKings, but we're looking for 20 points down. He's averaging 18 on the season so far. Currently, I'm projected for 21. His minutes have been ticking up as of late. There's no DeLon Wright on the bench, so that condenses the bench just a little bit more. There's more minutes to go around in general. And then if Daniel Gafford, is actually injured and misses tonight's game, then there could be more minutes just to go around in general. So a guy like Koulibaly could benefit in that regard. It could be a very bad game for him, but it could be a really good game at the same time. And even if this game ends up being like a blowout or something, he's still going to play in that situation just because he's young and he's so raw, and they just want him out there on the court getting as much time as he can, especially on a Wizards team that's not trying to win at this point in time. Then we move down to the power forward position. I got Pascal Siakam here, $7,700. We're looking for 38, 39 fantasy points out. He's averaging about 32.5 so far on the season. Really good spot tonight against Washington. Pascal Siakam's played really bad to start the season. There was a day last week where it seemed like all the popular players didn't hit, and then kind of all the GPP guys that you were just kind of hoping for some high upside ended up hitting. And that was the day with Pascal Siakam in one of my lines. So I did like the price point on him that day. I like the price point on him once again today. He gives us that 40-point upside. It could go really wrong, but it could also go really right against this Washington Wizards team. So if it's going to happen any day, why not today? And then we get down to Domantas Sabonis. He's $10,100 on FanDuel as well. FanDuel, you get the unique situation where you can play him at power forward as well. It's going against Cleveland. Still, I'm projected for about 50 points tonight. You're looking for 50, 51 out of him, averaging 45 on the FanDuel side because you're not getting that extra bonus for the double-double and the triple-doubles and everything else like that. But still really like him tonight. It is a little bit of a tougher matchup. Maybe somebody else opens up at the center position throughout the day, but if it's not Domantas Sabonis, you're paying down at a couple other different options, just kind of hoping that they have that higher upside game and pay off at their price tag overall. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed on the FanDuel side, you have $27,100, just under $6,800 per player. So if you really wanted to, you could probably put in one other stud, one high-priced player, pay down at some other spots, or you can kind of go the balance build route and just kind of balance it out the rest of the way from there. A lot of different options that you can take on today's 4-game main slate. Like I said, a lot of decent price players out there, a lot of good players playing on this slate. So get creative. There's going to be a lot of different ways to build out lineups today overall. But with that being said, these are my core picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today, November 13th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. I do ask that you list whether those questions are FanDuel or DraftKings specific, just so I can help you as quickly and efficiently as possible. And then as always, I'll be listing all the injury updates throughout the day down in the comments, as well as all the starting lineups as they do get announced throughout the night. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I'll have my updated core as a pin comment about 15 to 20 minutes prior to lock, or as those updates do become available throughout the night. So definitely be sure to check up on this video as we do get closer to lock, so you have all that information. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking it out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we have NBA DFS Monday through Friday in terms of the core pick videos, and then once a week doing the NFL DFS player pool video. So that one's typically coming out on Saturdays. Definitely be sure to check that out if you're into NFL DFS as well. And then I also do put out the NFL DFS cheat sheets for both FanDuel and DraftKings over on the sports affiliation website as well. If you are interested in sports betting, prop betting, be sure to check out the links down in the description below for Prize Picks, BetUS, and Parlay Play. If you are a new user, first-time depositor, you'll get a pretty good first match deposit bonus on all 3 of those sites. Helps you guys out a little bit as you start your sports betting, your prop betting journey. Helps me out a little bit on the side as well. And then if you have any questions regarding that whatsoever, feel free to drop them down in the comments or reach out to me on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport and be more than happy to help you over there as well. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in NBA DFS tonight.